This is Timothy Theory, a.k.a. the Canadian Menace, a.k.a. the Nightmare from Nova Scotia. And you already know that the Bulls watching Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid. That's what's up, yo.
This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid, and son of a bitch, if I got me, one Mr. Timothy Theory, my very special guest tonight. My man, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to do this. I know we're all under the quarantine thing going on. Are you doing a first question, very right off the ripper? Are you doing okay through this whole COVID thing? What's going on with Timothy Theory?
Oh, man, I'm doing all right. I'm just chilling, like I've been working on some new music. I got my whole little office studio over here set up, cleaned up and everything, getting stuff done around the house. So I'm liking it. I got my whole home gym set up downstairs and everything now. I've been setting that up, getting it, I got it all different rearrangement and everything. So I've been getting some workouts in and, I'm kind of digging the whole quarantine free space, like time away from society, I've been saying for a long time, these inbreds, slime buckets and degenerates need to be taking some showers, using soap deodorant, the whole 9 yards. So I think it's a lesson that's, a lot of these people got to learn the hard way, I guess, to stay clean. But I guess it's a little too touchy of a subject, a little too soon, right?
Too soon? Hey, whatever is on your mind, Mrs. Theory, that's what this forum is all about. We are free to talk about whatever we like, my man.
All right. That's what's up, yo.
I wanted to get me some Mr. Timothy Theory because I've only seen him perform one time in PAPW locally, and then I seen you at this crazy mall show that just happened recently over in West Nyack, New York. So my chances of seeing Timothy Theory has been very rare because of our distances geographically. Now, when I first seen you, you came into the Friday Night Alley Fights in PAPW, and I had the I want to say the honor and the privilege of sitting to, which I didn't know at the time, which was your lady, and she was cheering you, and I was booing the piss out of you, and I didn't know what to do, man. There was a lot of static going on between us, but man, we had a lot of fun because when Timothy Theory gets in the ring, he puts on his A game every single time, and I loved it, man. Your introduction to the fans, I loved it. Could you give us a little rundown on your debut at PAPW, please?
Yeah, I came out to the Friday Night Fights. It was pretty cool. I came out to just pretty much let everybody know what Tim Theory is all about out there. I'm used to mostly wrestling out in the New York, New Jersey area, kind of doing a lot of shows out that way. I've actually debuted in Illinois. That's where I first started wrestling for JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling for ICP. They had Vampiro and the Ring Riders right there running the boot camp. So, I kind of come with a whole different style than what you even see in the whole New York, New Jersey area. So when I'm out there, when I'm in Connecticut, I've actually wrestled for Pro Wrestling Academy out there in Connecticut before. So I've wrestled for ECPW in Connecticut actually a couple times actually myself. So I've been in Connecticut a couple times. So it's just a matter of when I pop up, sometimes people remember me from back then. Sometimes people might remember me from, YouTube videos or whatever. But I always got that unorthodox offense that I'm coming with that, people don't know. They're not going to know if I'm going to hit them with some running power slam or if I'm going to come off the top rope with a front, flipping leg drop. I'm going to come off some kind of springboard. I'm always hitting them with something that they're not going to expect. So Tim Theory is always putting on a crazy, unpredictable show, So it doesn't matter where you see me, you're not gonna see the same match twice. You're gonna see something completely original, completely scripted from the unorthodox mind of the madman himself. So the fans in Connecticut that night, I'm sure they were all reminded instantly of the Canadian crippler himself. Well, I guess you can call me the Nightmare from Nova Scotia.
Nightmare from Nova Scotia. Wow.
I haunted each and every single one of them in their nightmares, especially my opponent that night, who was the Nerd Warrior himself, Nathaniel Carr, right?
Fogman would boo the piss out of him just by hearing his name. He'll boo him no matter what. He hates him some Nathaniel Carr. I mean, I did me some Nathaniel Carr. I hated to see his demise at the hands of Timothy Theory, but hey, sometimes it is what it is.
And that's just how it goes. I'm not playing a video game. I'm in reality, and I'm just kind of, taking names and cashing checks. I don't know, whatever you would say. I'm just kind of out there beating people up left and right, come off the top rope with something crazy, and fans, they're just going to have to sit back and wait until this quarantine's up, because once it's over, you're going to see Tim Theory out there in a ring near you, and one thing's for sure, you won't know what to expect when you got the unorthodox madman coming through those ropes.
Would you classify yourself and your style as a hybrid wrestler, or how would you classify yourself?
Yeah, I guess I would consider myself a hybrid wrestler, because it's not so much like I'm set to one style of wrestling. I'm not just a high flyer. I'm not just like a brawler or like a powerhouse wrestler. I'm a little bit, I study a lot of the luchador style. I study a lot of technical wrestling, stuff that's overseas. I watch it all, and I've been watching wrestling my whole life. So I have a little bit of everything that I handpicked from each wrestler that I studied, that I grew up, looking up to. And it's just a matter of finding what works for me, take out my opponent that night in the ring.
Now, earlier you spoke of debuting in Illinois in the ICW. Was that correct?
No, it was ICP had the JCW, Juggalo Championship
Wrestling. Yes, the JC.
Where I first came from, where Vampiro and the Ring Riders, who were Ohio versus everybody at TNA Impact, Dave Chris and Jay Chris, the Chris brothers, they were in charge of running the boot camp out there. So I tried out, and that's where I first started wrestling. Actually, it was on the pay-per-view Bloody Mania, the Gathering of the Juggalos. It was on. It was actually 2012. Got to wrestle on the pay-per-view. 2013, I came back, tried out again, and then I started training out there with the ECPW out there in Jersey. Learning some stuff out here with these local area, feds and everything, and just kind of getting myself out there like that. And now I'm actually training with Damian Adams, so I'm out there with Team Adams doing some stuff, just trying to sharpen up my game, get myself to where I need to be to get to the next level in my career, get to the heights I'm soaring.
I talk about character on these interviews, because in wrestling, if wrestling is larger than life, it's over the top. And I've been kind of described from, wrestlers that sometimes your character or the better characters are yourself, but just, turned 1,000 times up, Could you talk about your character? And again, when you come out the curtain, you let the fans know that we're supposed to boo you. We know that you're the villain of said match. You give us those signals. And that's one of those things that not everyone does. So give us a little bit insight of your character and how it's like being a villain in the industry right now.
I'm just like naturally hated no matter what I do. People hate everything I do. Like, music, I do wrestling, and people just hate. Matter of fact, real fast, let me do a little quick side note. Just look right here. I got this whole setup right here. Open up for Tech 9, you know what I'm saying? Snoop Dogg, I got some pictures up there from a couple of the shows we did, and you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, people are just gonna hate. They're gonna try to act like that's not some kind of big accomplishment. But yo, Snoop Dogg is a WWE Hall of Famer, so imagine that. You got a future Hall of Famer, Tim Theory, open up for a current Hall of Famer, so that's kind of cool. But not like you were saying though, as far as being hated in the ring and coming out to the ring and letting the fans know right off Jump Street, it's like I'm not out there to please the fans. I'm not out there to please any wrestlers, make any friends. I'm out there to be the best, to be the champion, to be number one, to get paid, and to be the one whose name is up there in lights. So come out there and hear the fans and hear them, oh, you know, Tim Theory, he's a bad guy, Canadian this, you know. It's just like, that don't bother me because I'm still going to win the match. I'm still going to beat up my opponent, and I'm still getting paid. So, like, I'm out there doing my job. It doesn't affect me one bit. But they can cheer for me, too, because, you know, I know I'm that great of a wrestler. Everybody, cheer for the one they think is the freshest. They already know that Tim Theory is the freshest wrestler, so they're going to go out there and cheer anyway. But the ones that boo, I know that they want to do the things that Tim Theory does, and it kind of, you know, bothers them that they can't do it. So, I mean, you know, I can't hate on them for that, but they can boo, hate on me all they want. That's why they bought their ticket, you know? So, I'm going to go out there and do what I do, and I guess they're just going to keep going out there and do what they do.
Well, in full disclosure, that specific PAPW, I was asking Mr. Mancini, part owner, I go, who's on the card tonight? And he mentioned a few names, which I was very familiar with. Then he mentioned your name, and I go, wait a minute, Timothy Theory. I go, I think I've seen that guy on the scene. I go, you're not going to charge me to see this guy. He goes, you know what, Kincaid, you're right. I don't think I'm going to have to charge you to see that guy. So you know what? I got in me for free to see me some Timothy Theory that night.
That's what's up, yo. You know, a lot of times it's like with Tim Theory out there, I literally give the fans their money's worth. And even if they got him for free, they're like, yo, that's crazy, man. Like, I just tossed him off the wall. Like, what did he do, man? Like, he just did that. And, like, you know, I like to go out there and give the fans a memorable performance, whether it's like, you know, whether it's in front of like 10 fans or 10,000 fans too, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, I'm out there trying to do this wrestling thing for real. Like, I'm not trying to go out there and give out some half-ass performance or like, you know, I want the fans to, you know, see what I saw when I was watching wrestling as a kid, just to kind of, you know, I guess bring back that old school vibe of like, you know, a competition, like a show that's like something to be taken serious and not just a lot of times, you know, people out there, they make wrestling look like a joke. They make it look like a mockery. And I like bringing it back to the sport aspect of professional wrestling. You know, I was a big ECW fan. You know, I was real big into the NWA, WCW, and, you know, I watched WWF. I'm from, you know, Canada, obviously, but when I was up here in the Northeast, it was a big thing in the tri-state area, just ECW, WWF, ECW. So, or I think I said that twice. WCW, ECW. You know, so it's like this, you know. I want the fans growing up, if they're watching wrestling and I'm a part of it, I want them to see a show that's not only, you know, competitive action in the ring, but, you know, the over the top theatrics of, you know, me also being a performer, you know, with music and everything too. I'll bring that aspect into it. I'll get the crowd involved. I'll get them all riled up, but I'm also gonna do some devastating maneuvers. I'm gonna come off the top rope with like some moves that they just like would not imagine me doing. You know, when I first started wrestling, I don't know, I was probably two something, probably like 213 originally, right? I got up to like 275. I was trying to get big, you know. I was pretty heavy. I was pretty big, and now I just dropped all the weight back off. I'm going back down to like what I was. I'm like 190 right now, probably 195. I dropped serious weight. Got the abs going, got the you know what I'm saying? I'm like trimming down big time. So I wanted to get back into doing more like cruiserweight style wrestling, luchador style, and that's just something that watching like I was saying, watching WCW as a kid and all that, seeing the cruiserweights, seeing all them doing their thing, just mesmerized me. I had my eyes glued to the screen, so like that's the type of style I'm going for right now. Always doing high flying moves, even like when I was 275, whatever. I was still coming off the top rope with the front flip leg drop. I was still doing lion stalls. I was still doing like front flip over the ropes just to get into the ring, like insane stuff. But now I'm like, I dropped some serious weight, and even when we train, I'll be training up there at Team Adams. We'll be doing like, we were starting off 500 squats, then 750 squats. Now we're up to 1,000 squats. Doing the conditioning, all that stuff. And I like the challenge. I'm always down to do all these physical challenges to make sure that, to prove that I'm here for real. I'm not trying to take it like a joke. I'm not trying to take it like it's taken lightly. I'm trying to go out there and prove that I want to be the best in the business, and I want to have each and every one of these fans know that when I go into the ring, it's not just, I'm not one of these cosplay wrestlers, weekend warriors. I live this, eat, sleep, and breathe like wrestling 24/7. People don't really, they probably wouldn't imagine, going into this that, your life's going to be completely consumed by wrestling. But my life before I joined the business was completely consumed by wrestling. And now here I am, and it's just like 100%. So, I mean, I got just I just recently moved my office up here into this new room, and it's like I have all these posters on my walls right now from different shows I found. I found these up at the school, ECPW. Actually, he had all these different posters sitting there from past events. Some of them I'll get at shows. I'll just be like, here's a cool poster. Like, I want to grab that one. I saw my face on there. Whoever might be wrestling, a couple of legends or whatever. Now I got to the point where it's just like my whole wall's like filled. Like, if I pan around, look at this.
Holy shit!
And I'm on every one of the posters. Like,
that's awesome.
Crazy. It's like, I just had to over time, like, I used to have my stuff set up in a different area. I didn't have all these posters on the wall, but like I was like, you know what, I could probably fill the entire wall, like just fill it up with posters, and some more of them out there that I could get. But it's just for now, this is what I got. So I mean, that's actually pretty pretty wild to look back on, and even got some I got some stuff. I did the shows with the NWA right here.
Oh, nice.
Wrestling one, this NWA Big Apple has some cool ones. There's a turnbuckle pad up there actually from one of the shows we did with the NWA when they Billy Corgan bought the whole. Matter of fact, that's me wrestling Robbie E right there at the NWA. I think my last NWA, maybe it was the second to last NWA show we did before Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins closed all the territories down, and a couple little cool things to throw up on the wall, just random stuff. I never really would have thought about throwing the stuff on the wall either, just until I set this little office up here. And it's cool to look around, see all the different things I got, still more stuff I could have from over the years if I would have kept it. But, definitely cool stuff to see over the years, man. I'm real happy to be a part of wrestling and, getting to meet all these legends and, wrestlers I looked up to over the years and, getting to pick their brains and, seeing how things have changed from when they broke into the business and like, hearing the road stories, the war stories, everything, it's just like people that are actually right now during this time when we're in the quarantine and all that, it's like you can sit back and reflect. It's like, man, we got to all be thankful for some of the fresh memories we have just being involved in wrestling. Like, I got to meet Jimmy Snuka before he passed away, and like even I'm sure you probably met him when he was out in Connecticut for a couple of shows out there, ECPW or whatever. Like there was just so many fresh memories I could talk about. Meeting all these legends and kind of hearing their stories. Like some stuff I can't really share because it's like back like the wrestling code or whatever. I share certain things, but like just hearing their perspective, I'm like it's humbling too because you get more of a you just get more like respect for the business and the guys who paved the way for where we are now, and like how much struggle and like sacrifice they actually had to put in to be where they are now. It's just like unimaginable the type of business it was and it is now, and it makes you really excited for the future, for what opportunities you could have, and just it's a good time to be a wrestling fan and a good time to be a wrestler and a good time to be a part of the business, and a lot of cool things are happening. They're doing a lot of like things that you would never imagine to see, like even how you got these like LED boards in the ring, like like you see like the turnbuckles have like videos on and everything. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like I remember watching seeing these different shows like WrestleManias from like back in the 80s and 90s. You'd see the basic entrance stages. Now you have like huge LED walls on everything, and like just like skyscrapers of these entrances. It's so cool. Like nowadays it's such a big thing to be a part of, and I'm like really happy for it. I'm glad wrestling is still around. I'm glad that we're able to go out here and do these type of interviews and do these type of the shows that we could do to put on like fun events for fans that might not be able to go out to see a bigger show, and if it's something that's like local, they're right out there, they can come out and see a show and get distracted from their problems for like 2 hours. And sometimes we could be raising money for different charitable events, different organizations. It's just like, wow, I'm gonna be a part of that. I'm looking at a lot of these posters and just seeing like benefit for like Special Olympics, benefit for this police department, that fire department. I'm just like, yo, just a lot of like events for good causes, and that's really cool to be able to do something that you like to do, that you love to do, and give back, and the fans enjoy it too. So like that's like a good thing all around. So that's it's definitely cool, to be out there and just be involved. Now's a good time for everybody. So just once this quarantine's up, that quarantine will get you a little stir crazy, but now I'm gonna go back through all these old matches I got a little bit of time. I got years worth of matches I can just sit back and upload whatever. I got I would just leave my camera running throughout the shows, and I would have full shows from probably the year 2013 up, or whenever I got my camera. I think probably 2013 I want to say. So like I have years worth of footage that is just sitting on a couple different hard drives, like this. It takes up a lot of space. So I'm gonna sit back and see what I got, and just upload. I got matches I have up on YouTube now, like me versus the Nasty Boys and Brutus and Bar Beefcake and Great Henry Valentine. And like matter of fact, I was actually getting ready to I was just looking at this one clip. I had a different camera angle for my Rest of the Gangsters, right? It was me and Rob Saint versus New Jack and Mustafa, and this one camera angle where it was like, for whatever reason, you didn't see this on the video that Richard Ruiz had uploaded on YouTube, but it was like, you see, so New Jack threw me, and I took out like a whole row of chairs, and here comes this like one goofball security guy. He comes walking up, and like New Jack just grabs the chair and like swings at him. I'm like, yo, I didn't see that until now. Like, I literally just saw that now, like probably like an hour ago when I was looking at the video. And I was like, I gotta upload that clip. Like once I get off the phone with you, I'm uploading that shit, Instagram, Facebook, everything. I'm like, yo, this is what coronavirus got y'all stir crazy, like, just some random caption, but like, man, that shit was funny. Oh, I can curse on here?
Yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a free moment, my man.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, just making sure. I tried
No,
to
that
curse anyway, but like, I couldn't help it. It was funny, man. I was cracking up just seeing that. Like, good times, but yeah, I wrestled New Jack and survived. I didn't get stabbed. I didn't get like,
oh, wow.
yeah. So like, that's a big accomplishment too, because I'm a big ECW fan, so you already know like getting the rest of the gangsters. I was like, yeah. I was like, that's what's up. I'm like, all right. Then when you see him come out the curtain, he comes walking in the ring, like, all right, I'm wrestling the gangsters. I better be careful. I better make sure I got my own, little jig, like, stashed away just so I could be safe. But nah, everything was cool. I went right for New Jack. That was like, how we started the match. So like, it was a brawl ensued. I got a couple hits in, and the rest is history. But we're still champions. But good times. But hey, man, we got a couple cool things we're trying to work on now. Like I was saying before, man, I got to open up for Snoop Dogg. I got to open up for Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, Jim Jones from Dipset, Slayer from the Coca Nostra, Shaggy from ICP, Twisted, P. Siegel. I'm trying to think, like, we did, that Tech Nine show. We had Futuristic, Chris, Dizzy Wright, Chris Calico. It was like, just we just reformed the band after probably like years since we did anything. Cause my friend that's in the group got locked up. He was in jail for a while, so like he was actually upstate for I think like 8 years or something like that. And then next thing you know, he gets out. Everything's all right. We started working on music again. Next, we opened up for the Tech Nine show, which led like us open up for Jim Jones, then Shaggy, and like Slain, Twisted, all that. It was like a chain reaction. We was willing like a quick, like, I think within like the first couple months of us just being a group again, we ended up having all these shows lined up, and like I was still wrestling at the same time too. Like I was doing all these shows and wrestling, so like, and I do all like I was managing the group myself. It was just kind of like me going out there getting the bookings and stuff like that. So we ended up doing all these wrestling shows. I got us to go on the radio to talk, like do like little interviews and stuff like that. I got us to go on. Well, I'm on the news, the TV, and like out in PA. I got to go on the news and talk about a couple of the shows we were doing, and like talking about it. Like I was doing a wrestling show and I was opening for Snoop Dogg at the same time. Like, so I was like, all right, I'm doing this show. Not only am I opening up for WWE Hall of Famer, but I'm gonna be out here like wrestling, blah blah, like doing the whole thing. Like it's crazy looking back. I'm like, I'm like constantly doing like something music and wrestling related, like, but both of them at the same time, like at such a crazy level like that. It was just, it was definitely testing my, I guess my patience too, but like testing my, I guess, ability to see if I can handle it and, see if I can get done all in a short amount of time. So now I'm like constantly like getting stuff done with both, trying to, make sure I have all my music stuff situated and squared away, and then having all my wrestling stuff, taken care of. So like, just imagine promoting all your wrestling stuff at one time, and then having to like switch over and then start promoting all your music stuff at the same time. So it's like, man, it was pretty wild, but I don't get much sleep, so like constantly running around doing stuff, and yeah, it's just how it is. It's the life of the business, It's just you gotta put in the work.
Well, your passion for both, I'm not going to just leave out music. Your passion for both, the way you speak, the way you reminisce about your posters, about specific shows, or about the names that you've been able to be part of shows with and share the stage with. Your passion, my man, is just that shit is infectious, man. I love everything you were just talking, man. You love your shit, and it's refreshing because I'm not saying that everybody doesn't have a passion for wrestling or what they do, but you sat there and you just told stories. You showed us some memories. You showed us your room. You gave us a lot of. Is Timothy Theory your real name? Could I ask?
I mean, it might as well be. Everybody calls me Theory. I'm like, definitely like. It's like it all kind of started as a nickname. Like Tim Warner is my real name. Like Timothy Theory though is just everybody just calls me Theory these days. It's just so much easier. Like they're like, yo, that's Theory. It fits, But like, kind of man, what's happening here? Am I on the phone? You can still see me. Somebody's like trying to like call in or whatever. I'm trying to see if
That's okay.
black
I can kind of hear you. You're frozen, but we're gonna run with it. Just do what you got to do.
Well, I'm just like once it ends. All right, we're good now. Yeah.
All right, baby.
Let them go
All
into
right.
yeah. But yeah. What was it called? What were we just saying before?
I asked you if your name was really
Oh,
Timothy.
yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, your passion for everything, music and wrestling. Because I've been a guitar player, little singing. I've done the PA. I've done the booking, the making of the posters, and all of that crap myself. But I find that they're very similar, both worlds. Do you find that as well?
Oh yeah, that's a fact. Oh, what happened here? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fact, man. And then, matter of fact, now that you mentioned poster making, the one show I did make this poster for right here, the Rocket Wrestling Show. I booked a Rocket Wrestling Show when I was in a band, actually. Hold on, let me see if I can show. My camera's a little wonky. Hold on. Oh, wait, right here. Matter of fact, Gravecrawler. That was my band at the time, Gravecrawler, right? And, yeah, there's this whole Rocket Wrestling Show. I made that poster for that. It was, it's real similar in the aspect of you gotta go out there, hit the streets, and like get the word of mouth. You gotta flyer up. You gotta, you know, everything has to be on point, and they gotta stick to their times too. It's like if you got a certain amount of time to go out there and wrestle, like 10-minute time limit, or else it's a draw. Then hey, same thing with music. You go over that 10 minutes. Some promoters just all right. You said that's it. So like. It's like I pretty much I look at wrestling like, yeah, we all got more like wrestling. I guess you don't have to rely on so many people as you would in a band. So that's kind of I can see it's a little bit different, but then again, you gotta rely on who you're working with at the time in the ring or at the show, whatever. Like if you have tag team partner involved, whatever, you gotta rely on them being there. Certain things, but like I think wrestling is yeah, they're real similar actually. I'm like I find too when I was like out there wrestling and then when I go on the stage and I'm like kind of getting involved with the crowd, I feel like I kind of have the same things. I can get them involved. Like when I run out the curtain, if I'm come out the curtain and I'm in a place where people like me, I'm like, well, come on, everybody, make some noise, let's go, or whatever. And then they'll start cheering, or whatever. It's like, yo, I'm out there on the stage, the same concept. It's like, man, I always wanted to, do something in like my hometown, like where I'm at, and just doing a show out here where we got everybody to come out and give us a fucking man, we had like a crazy reaction from the crowd, and having it like once at the end, like the end of our set, we're like at the end, like we say our last final things, and everybody's like popping for us and giving us this crazy reaction. I'm like, yo, this is what it's all about, I'm like, I had like had this dream of like wrestling and music since I was a kid, and it's all about just chasing it down, like making it happen, like putting in as much work as you possibly humanly possible and make it happen, and trying to like make it happen one way or another. And we were able to chase down. Well, not only was I able to chase down the music one or wrestling one, but also the music one. It's just like I'm there, I'm in the game, but I'm still trying to see where I could take it. So I'm not just like, all right, I got to do it, and like, all right, well, at least I can say I did it. I'm like really right now trying to take it as far as I can, push it as far as it'll go. So like, that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to like get as I guess knowledgeable as I can with the music stuff. With production, I've got like course, was it Berkeley College of Music courses I've taken for music and production and all that. So I've learned a lot just recording in Pro Tools, audio engineering, and all that stuff. So being like self-sufficient in that aspect, and like you can see my mic right there. I got my own little home studio set up, so I can just record right in here, and it's just like my little setup. I got like so much equipment from over the years that I learned how to do certain things and how to use certain pieces of equipment. And now I'm just so knowledgeable in each area that I can literally like record my own song, make my own video, make my own logos if I needed to. It's all right there, And I had to like search down certain knowledge just because I knew I wasn't gonna be, I was gonna have people there that are gonna be there to help you do it, or whatever. So it's always good to be knowledgeable and self-sufficient on your own, just to make sure you can make it happen, even if you wanted to. Just kind of like I look at like it's good to have your own production set up just so you can get creative with it. It doesn't constrict you in any way, so like you can get really really intricate. And like I record with we were in a death metal band at the time, actually Gravecrawler, went to that rock and wrestling show, and we recorded the album in I had my whole setup in the basement actually downstairs, and like it was just like the soundproof was like fine down there because I was on the ground. So it was like the way we recorded there, we took our time. We recorded drums actually in the studio, but the rest of it we just took our time with. So that way it was like we could get creative. We could sit back and like see if this effect sounds better than that one, and it's just I was always a big fan of like the do-it-yourself style of production, just hardcore music. So like I'm real into like just trying to get creative with the things that I'm passionate about. So like especially music and wrestling too. I try to do different things, but try to stick with like the roots of what I know. So I'm out there doing a little bit of everything.
So are you actively in a band right now and doing wrestling still?
Well, I'm in a rap group right now because I was in the band for a little bit and it didn't really work out. I kind of had a falling out, I guess, with the band where it ended up becoming like, one door closed and another door opened. So like I left the band and I became, I got back with the group actually with More Street Movement now. The group I'm in now actually, it's like we have this group that originally it was me, my brother, and Matt Boy, the guy who's in the group now. My brother, he has kids. He kind of stepped away from music. He didn't really see himself being into doing the music anymore. So, he stepped away. But me and Matt Boy, we kept it going. We were always like, nah, we're just gonna keep doing our thing, And we ended up doing so many big shows. And it's just like I was so glad we stuck with it because like once I left the band, Gravecrawler, like we were doing little like underground shows and stuff like that, places in New York and like Massachusetts, random places in PA. Like we were doing a couple of shows, like building our name up, but it was just, everybody. I was saying before, you got to rely on so many people in the band, and not everybody can do this show or that show. It's just like, we weren't really, like I wanted to just do certain shows. Like I didn't want to do so many shows right away or whatever. I want to try to do like big shows and line them up. And then it was like, once I left that band and, reformed the rap group, it was like we started doing the Tech Nine show and then the Jim Jones show. We were actually going to open up for Ja Rule, but it like just didn't happen. And we ended up like, we weren't really sure if the show was going to happen. It was around that whole time, like the whole Fire, what was that documentary called? Firefly or something like that, where they were talking about the festival and like the whole thing. So we were like, yo, like, I'm not really sure if he's actually going to do the show. Like we were actually like, we weren't really 100% sure that he was going to show up. So we were like, all right, maybe we shouldn't do this show. So we should have though, because he actually ended up doing I was like, that was the one show. I was like, man, we should have just did it, like.
So you're a rapper in the group. There's three of you.
Yeah. It's three of us, and basically it's like, we rap about like just the crazy lifestyle that we grew up in, and like the other guys in the group, they were both in and out of jail for a really long time, and like I kind of, I didn't get in trouble like how they did because obviously I'm out, I'm wrestling, I can't, if I was like a criminal like that, they wouldn't let me in the ring or whatever. So I've been using wrestling and music and stuff as a way to keep me out of trouble. So we got the group back together, and that was the whole mission. We're gonna just work on music and try to like share our stories growing up with like
Cool.
just poverty and like crime and all this stuff, and trying to get the kids to think that think about what they're doing, because a lot of times growing up in the moment, kids aren't thinking about what they're doing, and like a lot of crazy things happen. So like we were just trying to share our experiences and kick the knowledge to these kids in a way that they would understand. Like we end up getting a couple songs playing the radio out here, which is like never would imagine our songs being played on the radio. I had to make it radio friendly. I was like, all right, we gotta go re-record this part and change this curse word to this. Like I never would imagine that. And then the other part, we just blanked the rest of the curse words out, and like but still, it was cool. We got our stuff playing the radio, and like, it's just like it makes me like I get kind of like inspirational thinking about it, but now I'm like hoping that it encourages other kids that are like thinking like, man, like, whoa, I don't think I would ever get a chance to do that. Like, you never know. You gotta put yourself out there and get that chance, And if I didn't keep going at this stuff, like putting all my time, effort, and money into doing all this stuff, then who's to say if I'll be where I'm at now? And even doing that show with Tech Nine and Snoop Dogg and all that stuff, it's like, man, we stuck with this dream for years that we grew up as kids, like thinking about, And Matt Boy, he was sticking with this music thing. He was like, when I was writing, he was like pushing me to write the best I could and make it to where, he's like, nah, I don't like this one. He's not trying to be a yes man, and like making sure that I'm writing the best I could write, and like, making sure that everything's on point. So it's a good thing we stuck with it, because then look at all the fresh things we were able to do. And I hope that, a lot of these kids that watch and whatever, they're like, oh, I wish I could do that one day. I wish too, but then I just end up putting in the work and making it happen, and you guys just have to chase your dreams and like don't give up on it. Keep following it, and like I'm kind of like being a little inspirational at the moment, like just because I got this whole fresh experience. Like even when we did the show with Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? He won a Grammy, and at the end of the show, I'm out there chilling with his his crew, with people that are on his label and everything, and they're just talking for a little bit before they leave to go to the next town or whatever, and like they were real cool, man. They passed off like a lot of positivity, and like I felt like they weren't being like he, especially Crazy Bone, he wasn't being a star. He's real humble, and like I'm like wow, man, like this is what it's all about. Just giving the love back, and like being more, I guess, kind of more setting a good example for the next generation, next wave of people that are gonna come through to do all this stuff. So like, I'm real fortunate and like thankful for all the stuff I got to do, and I'm gonna keep doing what I do and keep making things, I guess go to the next level. I'm just putting in all the work I can and trying to keep this whole dream alive. And so far things been working out pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing where I go to next. Which town I'm in next, which show I'm, rocking the stage with my rap group with, which ring I'm gonna be jumping off the top rope of, or like, always doing something that's unpredictable. So I mean, it's just a matter of time before the next show comes up, and like, man, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everybody once this whole quarantine's done. I'm hoping that all the fans, even the stinky ones that call out, something from this. Tim Theory I wasn't giving nobody a bologna sandwich this whole time. It was You know, there's some behind all that. Deodorant talk and taking a shower and like all that. See, there's something behind it. Now now more than ever. Just wash your hands, use some hand sanitizer. Yeah, just crazy times though, man. Crazy times. I'll tell you
It,
what.
it, it definitely is crazy times. Um, you use the word inspirational, like you're like, Mom, maybe I'm being a little inspirational.
Yeah.
uh, Timothy Theory, that message that you just spoke about, passing it down and putting in the work, chasing the dream. Don't give up. You don't have to wish. You just got to, like you said, put in the work, chase that dream. And it does take money. You can't do it for free. You got a lot of legwork as well. That message, I cannot wait till this video gets put out there because you have a beautiful heart, my man. And that message is amazing. And I am so glad you shared all of that with me and all that. I hope more than like my mom or my dad watches this thing. I you know, because I don't know who the hell watches Kincaid, man. I don't know. But yeah, what a beautiful message. And I do thank you, my man.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's like man, like a lot of times people just they gotta like you were saying before, nothing in this world comes free, It's like sometimes, to get things that are worth fighting for in life, you gotta work hard, and you gotta put in that work. And a lot of times, you see people that everybody says, "Oh, this person got it because they're related to somebody in the business, or somebody has money or whatever." Well, sure, man, that's like that everywhere in life. But you gotta just be the person that works hard, and you have to outwork everybody and try to do the best you can. Just work the hardest you can to stand out, and hopefully, people that get, I guess some people get caught up in it. They might get, upset or let down because they got a hard time that they got to go through and everything. But keep fighting, keep working, pushing through it, and maybe you'll make that happen. And when you get people behind you, like a good support system. I've been getting a lot of support from people that have followed me from wrestling and music, and now I'm just like, man, there's like a sky's the limit, space is the place. So that's my mentality. Now I'm just like, I can't wait to see what the future's like and what I'm gonna do next, and like, I just hope that everybody can get over this whole quarantine thing. I'm glad we got wrestling and music to, sit back and watch. I'm glad we got the Kincaid Files for fans to sit back and watch too, because that's pretty fresh. That we got like cool stuff like this to help, get out of this funk that everybody's in right now with the coronavirus crisis and everything. So like, let's just have everybody enjoy all the freshness we got, be thankful, and it's like I feel pretty good about the future, and I feel like I'm excited to be back. So once all this is over and done with, I'm excited to be back in the ring, be back on the stage, and doing my thing. So.
Well, I can't wait, and I sure hope that you come in our area more because I mean that your area. Could I touch upon your area real quick though? Is your home base, your home promotion, is that ECPW, East Coast Professional Wrestling?
Yeah, right now, I'm like, it's like right there. I'm staying in the Poconos and PA, so I'm like not even like an hour away from there. So there's like shows that are always running right there. So I wrestle for there a lot. Like, I'm Gino Caruso. He's been real cool. And Andrew Anderson, all those guys out there. There's a lot of them that, they I guess they kind of took me under their wing. Like I was originally, like I was saying, I came from JCW, so like, I was kind of like always an outsider. And they have like the local guys that are out there. Kenny Bangles from out there, and Sonny Kiss is from there. Crazy Ivan. I know Tony Myers. Guys that have been out in like Connecticut and stuff like that. And it's just like they all kind of took me under their wing, and like, I help out a lot out there, and try to just give back. My nan passed away. Gino and Andrew Anderson were like, and Brandon Alpha actually. They were like the only ones from wrestling that I mean, not that the only ones, but there's like, yeah, they came out and they came to, show their support, and they came for the, the funeral and all that, the service. So that was real cool to show the type of people that they were. So yeah, I'm always, out there helping out with them, and they put me on all types of crazy shows with legends and had me out there wrestling, Tito Santana and like the Nasty Boys and all that stuff, Demolition. Like, I got to share the ring with a lot of legends and pick up like a lot of their brains just because, ECPW. So yeah, I wrestle out there mostly. That's like my home promotion, I would say now, right? For right now, yeah, and other than that, I've wrestled like a couple random places like here and there. I've made some debuts, like some I kind of like I couldn't call off the top of my head, but like, I'm down to go wherever, like between the music and like wrestling, I was just kind of just having stuff booked and then, filling in the blanks from there. And, I've wrestled for like JCW though in the beginning, and wrestling on the pay-per-view out there and being in front of like a couple thousand fans for my debut, and then find out like, all right, I gotta go find a couple local independent places I can, set up at and learn and kind of like, sharpen my skills and all that. That's when I found out about ECPW. So like, it's just, it's cool to get opportunities from there. And, that's actually when I first wrestled in Connecticut. Actually, it was probably ECPW show in like 2016 or something like that. And I had a crazy road trip with, Tony Myers, I think Aaron Bradley and somebody else, I think we went there with Crazy Ivan on the way there or something like that. But it was just like, I just remember like crazy road trips like that, and, becoming friends with these guys and like, just overall, just, like the camaraderie of it all. It's just a lot of guys in UCPW actually, I see them out there at other shows and stuff too, but, we kind of have like a similar bond. Just, you see guys that are out there that they want to work hard and be places. There's a lot of guys that they'll start at ECPW, they'll go other places and they'll come back, or they'll like just, some people, they might go off and get signed, or like, there's a lot of big names that coming out of the doors. You never know who you're gonna meet or where you're gonna, run into these people next. So like, I like ECW. I have fun out there. A lot of fun at the school. A lot of fun at a lot of the awards ceremony dinners they do. A lot of good times. It's cool that Gino does that for the boys too. It's like just get everybody together, because sometimes we don't always see each other outside of shows, and sometimes when you think about times like now, it's like it's good to have everybody together and have fun memories and moments that that you can look back on. Like just actually the time we had Jimmy Snuka at the award ceremony. He was inducted the Metal Maniac into the ECW Hall of Fame. It was a real good time. Like, I'm glad we filmed that whole little interview and stories that they shared. So like, it's just like cool stuff like that. You get to look back on and be like, all right, that was cool. Glad I got to be part of that. And,
Yeah, man.
yeah, so I'm always gonna be thankful for ECPW. I know a lot of people trash it. I know a lot of people, whatever. People got their opinions or whatever, but a lot of good guys have actually come, started out from ECPW, and I like to give Gino credit for at least doing stuff for the boys, and he's done a lot of things, giving guys side work, getting jobs for like different wrestlers outside of wrestling. Like, I know Tony Myers got a guest appearance on one of these rappers videos and stuff from Gino. So like, there's a lot of cool things that the guys that have done their part and give back and like pay the dues, they get taken care of. So
And ECPW specifically, I'd like to ask you about one person specifically.
yeah.
He doesn't like to use soap ever. His name is Dirtbag Dan.
Oh, yeah. Dirtbag Dan, that's the man.
How is it? I'm very curious because I'm a fan and he's a stinky wrestler. How is it having Dirtbag Dan in the locker room? I'm very, very curious. Is he a prankster and all of that crap?
You know what? He's I guess they say dirty is dandy. But he's like You know, he's actually, he's pretty cool. He came out when I opened up for Shaggy from ICP. Man, he came out to the show, and you know what? I guess that's kind of why they call him Dirtbag Dan. You know, he's out. He doesn't really. He has his own style to him. He doesn't really care what anybody thinks, and I think that he does his share of ribs. He has fun out there in the locker room and all that. You know, and he's a little bit of a prankster. So I like his one shirt. It's it reminds me of the old Batman Joker logo, or it's just him with his tongue out ah. He's got some cool stuff. I like Dirtbag Dan. I saw you had that match on there too with the hardcore match, right? Yeah, I like Dirtbag Dan.
He is so freaking funny. That guy, he walks in the door, and not that he turns the switch on or off. I mean, he is the same person in or out of the ring. But again, you elevate it just a little bit. You turn it up a notch. And son of a bitch, he affects every single person in that building, man. It's just you hear him walk in the building, and everybody's like, Dirtbag Dan. It's like when Norm walks into Cheers. It's awesome.
You know what? That show actually, that show I was on, I'm pretty sure he was there too, because I remember hearing him get this crazy reaction. I'm like, yo, they really here, huh, man? It must be the real dirty part of Connecticut, man, because they love a dirtbag out here,
We fucking love Dirtbag Dan, and he stinks to holy high hell.
Hey, man, different strokes change the world. I don't know, something like that. I about all these little expressions, but yeah, man, he's great.
We love us some Dirtbag Dan, man. I had to ask about him specifically because I always see him marketed on the ECPW posters.
He's their champion. He's the light heavyweight champion now. Actually, I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. It makes it it gives it a different little. It's ironic. It gives it a different breath to the ECW light heavyweight division. No pun intended.
So he's a light heavyweight champion. That's your home base.
Oh, you know what? I did lose mad weight. I was just thinking about that. I might.
You're at what? You're at 190?
Yeah, I actually, that's actually a good point you raised there. You know what? That's I didn't think about that. I always wanted to wrestle Dirtbag Dan too. I was like, man, he's got a crazy style. I can see us doing something, pretty interesting. I actually wanted to. At one point, when he was like the hardcore champion, right? I was gonna say, man, maybe I should challenge him for the belt, but oh, he's pretty dirty, man. That blood, I don't know if it's he got some something in his blood, and if it mixes with mine, I become like a vampire or something. Who knows, man?
That
wrestler, I don't know.
That bull is loco. He is off his fucking rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's a good point though. I don't know. Do I still qualify for the heavyweight championship belt or not? Who knows? I'm kind of like a tweener. I could be. Imagine if I was the light heavyweight champion and the heavyweight champion at the same time. Imagine that. Crazy.
Oh man, that would be amazing. Man, you know what? I don't know Timothy Theory very well because I've only seen him perform 2 times. I've never talked to you outside of the ring as I have with many of the men and women that I've met in the industry. This interview was actually the total opposite of what I expected out of Timothy Theory.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were gonna be a little rough around the edges. You were just gonna be a heel throughout this whole entire thing. My man, this has been one of the most pleasurable interviews I've ever done. You are a blessing to human race, my man. I love Timothy Theory.
That's that Canadian in me, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, oh, Canadians are so nice. I'm just plugging my phone. My battery's getting
That's
low.
all right, man. That's all right.
I'm usually everybody's like, yeah, Canadians are all they're all nice and everything, which is it's true. I'm pretty chill, but when I get into the ring, it's a whole different story, So I'm usually out there, I'll be yelling at the fans and all that, but they see that when they're out there at the shows and everything, and for the most part, I'm pretty calm, cool, collected, relaxed and all that, and I'm just I'll be working on some music. I'll be doing what I do out here with, whatever I'm working on at the time. But for the most part, it's like, when they see me out there in the ring, I get all riled up and all that. That's just, you don't want to see me like that. I'm right now, like, you wouldn't be able to hear me if I'd be just like, blah, blah, inbred this, like, slime bucket that. I'm like, for the most part, I got, some stuff to say. And, I'm just, I'm sure they hear enough of that at the shows as it is. So, I mean, like, I kind of, you know, I'm not so much of a bad guy. They just don't like me because I'm Canadian, But that's the problem.
So I have to go back before I do let you go. I want to go back to when you did debut at PAPW, and I mentioned how you come out and you become a presence, and you let us know what's up with Timothy Theory. But you put a little spin on it because of the death metal you have in your background. You come out, you get up to the ropes, and you're doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at my dad because I go to to all the shows with my dad, and I go, you know what? Fuck him. You can't at me. And I go, I love this guy.
I remember that, because you were like right there. That's so cool. You take your dad to the shows too. I used to when I would do shows out in like my area and stuff like that. I would take my nana to the shows because she just liked to get out, and she used to go on the football games and stuff like that. So I would bring her out, and she liked to get involved just to see me wrestle and all that. But like that's always good. Get to spend some time out there with the old man, and get to get involved and have fun, man. That's like that's what wrestling is all about. I was really, when growing up, I would watch wrestling with my brothers, and that really brought us all together. So like, when I go out to the ring, I'll add in, like, I was in the band at the time too, so I'll be doing the death metal stuff. That song actually was one of my songs from the band. So like, that was actually me on the vocals. I was the vocalist. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah, like I was just thing out there, and I pretty much, I gotta let the fans know. I know they don't like me because I'm Canadian, so I'm just like, all right, I'll be saying stuff right back at them. I'm like, yeah, like, use some mouthwash, get some deodorant, whatever. I'll be like getting at them about some stuff, brush your teeth, whatever. I'm like, they know right away when I come out that, all right, this guy's a bad guy. Look at him. You can tell. Like, should be when I was younger. Like, all right, he's a troublemaker. I could tell this guy's like up to no good. That's just like part of my whole thing. Like, and plus, I see people getting into it. That was something that I always kind of picked up on. Like, you probably know Crazy Ivan too, right? He was one of the guys I would train with a lot, and he would be like, something that I always remember. He'd be like, I'm out there addressing the crowd, yelling at people and all that. Like, just remember who's out there. Like, who's like, like, he would always say this certain thing. Where's Grandma? Like, just looking on the side, see where like towards the back wall, whatever, like that. Just certain things had to get me to like, interact with everybody. I'll be like, I just always be, getting out there and kind of getting people's faces, or like making sure everybody's involved, not just like, one side or the other. It's kind of like, all right, this guy, he's real into it now. Let's like, people start getting all excited and everything. I'm just out there kind of, go buck wild, yell at people, and like they're just like, they're gonna come out screaming like, what's wrong?
And that's what latched me onto your character, because I don't know you outside the ring, and I seen you come out and you're doing it, and I go, yeah, I like his look because your gear is crisp. Yep. It looks tight. You look good when you come out. You have a presence about you. You've got the Canadian flag, and it's like,
too, man. Congo Kong, the one wrestler, Congo Kong. You ever hear him before? He made that. He made that gear for me, the red and black gear.
Yeah.
Made that actually. That was like originally when I first came out. Like see, he was helping out with the boot camp at the Gathering. I think like 2013, the one year. He was just helping out, and like I found out he made gear. I was like, yo, I need to get some official gear. I might as well get it through you. What's up? And then he was like trying to make the gear because he does it on the side, and then he was also like constantly traveling, winning belts and everything. So like it was cool to have gear made by him. It kind of gave me a little bit of an extra bit of confidence out there. I'm like, all right, my gear is pretty fresh. You know, I got to go out there and rock something that's made by somebody who's out there making some big moves. So like, you know, I got new gear now. I'm working on getting some new stuff made up too. But like, you know, I just I try to keep it all like, you know, crisp and everything. I got that new logo now for the Theory verse, the shirt, and like, you know, I actually mixed in. You see, this skull right here, it's kind of mixed. So I got my you know, my new logo now. So like, it's kind of, you know, I'm trying to get better with my branding and stuff like that. And I do all the designing myself. I made this. I made the Theory versus the World shirt. I made, you know, a lot of stuff actually. You know, I designed a lot of different logos for a lot of different companies, and you know, I try to keep myself busy with as much production, audio stuff, video stuff, graphic design stuff as I can. So that's kind of how I do it. So
That's what we got to do, my man. We've got to keep ourselves busy, especially in this downtime right now.
yeah, man. Like I was saying, I got hard drives filled with wrestling. Like I got like one hard drive, like probably like 4 terabytes filled to the other one. Like I actually, I told Gino too. I was like, listen, man, like I got all this footage from over the years. Like you should just get an external hard drive, and I'll put all this footage on there for you, man. Like so, it's like a tape library now.
Mhm.
Like the entire time I was on there with all the shows that I left the camera running from the beginning till the end of like, you know, it's just things like that where I'm out there, uh, you know, trying to help out with every promotion I'm at to make it better than when I first started. Like ECPW, for instance, you know, I designed the turnbuckle pads and like the apron. I made that so that way, like when he got the new ring, that look official, look clean, instead of like the one that he said me what it was gonna look like. It was gonna be like ECPW a couple times going across. I'm like, no, don't do that. It'd be horrible. Like I try to do things like that to like make things, you know, look like if I was running a promotion, how would I do it? You know, like I wouldn't want it to look like that. You know, so I try to help out as much as I can with different promotions and like, you know, different like there's so many things that I know how to do that can benefit any promotion. Like, you know, like I said, from the graphic design, audio production, video production, like I can help oversee so many things and make it run smooth. So like, you know, it's just I try to give back to wrestling as much as I can, like while I'm around, and at least make it a better place than when I, you know, came when I first started there. So, you know, I try.
That's amazing, man. And I I love hearing that stuff because the younger generation and then they need something to go to. You know, that industry needs to be there for them. And as you right now, the older generation, you know, so it all kind of follows suit. So I mean that's amazing right there.
Yeah, and I mean, like a lot of these, like the guys came before me, they did a lot to, you know, make it what it is today, and it's just like, all right, well, I want to at least do the best I can, do my part. You know, if I'm not, even if I'm not around every show, or if I got like something going on or whatever, at least like I said, I helped out with this, or like, you know, did my part and get back to, you know, not just say that I was another wrestler that was just trying to use it for what, you know, they can gain, and you know, I've done a lot to help out, just to, you know, prove that I want to be there, and you know, prove that
It
I can play.
it puts a little extra in your heart and in your pride, like when you see the final product and you know, like I was part of this, you know, like it gives you a little something.
Yeah, yeah, you know, that's always good too, because it's like, you know, I could be like, yeah, you know, I feel like, you know, I helped out, make it look cool and everything for everybody.
Yeah,
I can, you know, I could go out there and show people, you know, if I'm doing some kind of promotion or a show, I'm like, hey, look, you know, I did this, you know, this is also good to have a portfolio. So that's why I try to get a lot
yeah,
of, I try to, you know, encourage a lot of people to be like hands on with things that like, you know, what they're good at, just so that way you can always say, yeah, you know, I did this for this company or I did that. And, you know, we never know where it could lead. Somebody could refer you, like Gino would always refer people and say like, yeah, they did this for me or whatever. And
that's cool.
yeah, it makes it to where, you know, you never know where the road might lead. I actually got a couple jobs, like, you know, I designed a couple things for ECPW where I showed it to a couple different companies, like outside of wrestling even. And I was able
Hmm.
to work just from that. So like, that was always good to have, you know, that come back to me in that aspect. So it's like some people think, oh, this just doing free work or doing like it's not like free work or whatever. It's just you can always take that and use your advantage in different ways by letting your skills and letting your contributions kind of work for you in a couple different ways. And depends on how you take it. A lot of people try to look at like what they can do for themselves, but really it's what you can do for the promotion you're a part of, and just showing your value and what you bring to the table. If you're not somebody that's bringing fans in, or you just not a good wrestler, or whatever the case may be, try to be something that shows value, that shows why you're there, and just prove why you have value. And I don't know. I try to just make wrestling my life. That's just it. I'm like always trying to do something wrestling related, keep myself busy with wrestling related jobs, and it's my life. Like I was saying before, eat, sleep, and breathe it. It's just like all I've been, pretty much wanting to do since I was a kid. Watching wrestling with my brothers. Watching Bret Hart versus British Bulldog at SummerSlam '92, Wembley Stadium. Like watching Bret Hart versus Omar in a cage match over and over again on VHS tape, because me and my brother used to always be wrestling each other back and forth. Trying to do the same cage match and everything. Like stuff like that. I'm like, it's just like wrestling has just been such a big part of my life that I feel like that's just calling in life, music, wrestling, and overall being an unorthodox, unpredictable person. That's
Well, man, tonight you have been very honest. You've been open. You've been candor. They probably all mean the same thing, but man, this has been such a pleasure. And again, the opposite of what I expected from one angry Timothy Theory when he comes out that curtain. So, my man, this has been an absolute honor for me to just sit down and listen to your stories and listen to your passion. Just kind of come out of you, and it came out very naturally. So it all kind of makes sense to me now when you come out that curtain, and why I latched onto your character, because like you said, man, you love this business so much and you put everything into it, and it really shows in your performances. So me, myself, and the fans, we love that, and we thank you so much for your passion. And now that we've talked a little bit, your contributions, I think that's on top of the list. Thank you for your contributions to the industry, man.
I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Just like this interview, with Tim Theory, you never know what you're gonna expect. It's always orthodox. It's always off the wall, and I'm just trying to do the best I can. And hopefully everybody out there watching, they could take something from this and be like, all right, Tim Theory, man, he ain't so bad after all. But when it comes, we come out that curtain and
it's out
there in the ring, it's different story,
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad to see you're doing well through this whole madness. I cannot thank you enough for your time. And this was Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, one Timothy Theory. Thank you so much, Timothy.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, Don. It's been fresh, and hey man, maybe we'll do a follow-up interview down the road.
Yeah, yes, please. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. Sounds good. Later, bro.